What's up, everybody? I'm Steven. That's Joel. That's Cash. We are better than ever. Today is episode 7 of our podcast. Ain't that right, buddy?
Cash is like, it's his episode today.
It's all about him today. What's up, man?
Nah, not much, man. Chilling. It's election day.
This is election day. Not to date this or anything, but yes, today is election day.
Speaking of elections and making everyone sad. Because no one knows who's going to win at this point. There's no good candidates, in my opinion, but let's not make this political. So, speaking of sad things, something I was thinking about the other day that, like, genuinely intrigued me. What's the first movie you ever saw that made you cry?
Oh, that's a great question. That is so good. Wow. It's gotta be something animated.
Of course. I mean, we're children at that point.
It's gotta be something animated.
Like, what's the first thing that comes to your mind when you think of a movie that, like, genuinely made you cry your eyes out?
This came out a little later, so maybe why it kind of made me cry, because I was a little older, so I was able to understand it. Toy Story 3.
Toy Story 3?
3.
It's the first one that comes to your mind. It's just tears.
You know what it was? Yeah, because it's the final scene at the end. It's not the final scene, because obviously it doesn't end on.
Yeah, they obviously had 4, but
yeah. So it's like a scene where they're like all sitting in this like fucking garbage disposal, heading towards the furnace, and they're trying to get their way out. They're trying to fight their way out, trying to escape, and then at one moment they all kind of just look at each other. And they're just like, there's an acceptance, like, we're all gonna die.
Yeah.
So they start holding hands and shit. I'm like, you gotta be fucking kidding me.
This is not a kid's movie.
I was like, is this happening? Like, what the fuck?
You ever see the edits of that where they end the movie right there?
No, just credits rolling.
And they make you genuinely believe that they're gonna die.
All right, Toy Story's over. Thanks
This is the Toy Story.
Thanks for all this is the Toy Story. Thanks for all the memories, I guess. Yeah, that's the first thing that comes to mind, because it was like that. It's the look on all their faces when they're just like acceptance, like, well, this is it, we're dead.
Yeah,
that's the first thing that comes to mind. Obviously, it was a little later. Mm-hmm. Like, we definitely, I don't remember what year it came out, but obviously a little older. And that's the first thing that comes to mind, but I'm sure there's others.
When did Toy Story 3 come out?
I don't know.
It was definitely older.
I want to say it was like 2003, 4. So we were like,
what is it?
11, 12. I could be wrong. I could be dead wrong.
I mean, either way.
Yeah, like, so that's the first thing that comes to mind.
So immediately, I have 2 movies. One is that's genuinely, like, it's a movie that I think I can watch to this day and cry.
Oh, okay.
The first Pokemon movie.
Oh,
boy, you really thought Ash was Cashier. Ash was dead. Everyone believed he was
that was sad as fuck. Mm-hmm. It was like Pikachu, like, crying, like, begging.
All the Pokemon together.
Yeah, you know what? Yeah, I agree. I absolutely agree. I remember going to the theater too, like, to see that. I was with a bunch of my cousins. We got like that promo card in the beginning, like, we walk in.
Oh, yeah.
I saw that promo card somewhere. So I remember, like, that was a big thing, like, going to watch the movie.
Yeah, you get the Pokemon card.
Yeah.
That was the ancient meal, right?
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. And then the thing, the 2000 movie with all the dragons, all the legendary birds, had, like, promo, like, Dragonite. I also had it somewhere. But I remember that specifically because it was, like, the first time I really remember going to the movies, because obviously a huge deal was Pokemon.
Yeah.
And then I probably, at the time too, like, I remember being sad, but I don't remember realizing why it was so sad, because I was so young.
Yeah.
It came out, what, 98, 99? Something like that. So we were like 6 or 7. So yeah, man, like, I'm way too young to understand why it was so sad, but I knew something was off as a kid.
Yeah, you genuinely, like, it's one of those movies that you see and you genuinely believe they lose.
Yeah, you're like, well, I don't see how they get out of this.
And being that young, you can't, like now I watch that, I'm like, oh, they're gonna win in the end.
Oh yeah.
Like,
okay, yeah, it's expected. Yeah.
It's expected.
Yeah.
You know, it's very few movies now you watch where the good guys really lose.
It doesn't happen enough.
No, I think it happens way more often.
It does not happen enough where, like, the bad guys don't make it out.
Yeah.
That's just the way it is.
Which is why, like, a movie like Endgame, or is it Endgame?
Infinity War
is so, like, hit so hard.
Because they don't win.
Yeah, they don't win.
They obviously,
should have went for the head.
Yeah, you see come back. You knew there was going to be another one. So it's like, okay,
yeah.
They were able to do that because you knew there was another one coming. Where they're like, well, there's a good halfway point. Let's end it on a really bad note. Half the world is gone, and then you knew it was coming, but it was also really cool to see like the movie credits roll, and then they lost.
Yeah, you had to walk out of the theater.
Yeah.
And sit with that feeling for some time.
For a year. It was like exactly a year, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, so that's...
But you had to like be like, all right, they lost.
Yeah. But going back to Pokemon, though, like, that's a great shout. That was sad as hell. He's stoned. You don't think it's coming. All the Pokemon are fighting.
Yeah, and they like stop, don't they?
Yeah, they like stop. They're like crying. Like, the two Pikachus are like beating the shit out of each other. Like, they're crying. Like, I don't want to fight you. I'm like, this is fucked, man. This is so fucked up.
Horribly sad.
Terrible.
And another movie that I always think about too, like as a young kid, just bawling my eyes out. But like it's one of those things like I didn't know why I was crying, but I knew I was sad.
Yeah.
A Lion King, when Mufasa gets betrayed.
Yeah. Okay. Yes. You brought this up to me before over the years. Like I know this is a sore subject for you because that is sad as hell.
So sad. Like you think he's gonna get saved by Scar. You're like, oh, okay. And Scar goes.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Then the epic fall, and you're like, oh, he fell.
He'll be all right. He's big. He's strong.
As a kid, I'm like,
holding your popcorn. What?
And then you just realize he gets trampled.
Yeah.
Straight mauled.
Even when like Simba goes up to him, I was like, no, he's got to be still alive. He has to be still alive.
I'm waiting for the
Yeah, he's like, I gotcha. No, he's not.
Sad.
But it's also like these movies too, like definitely taught you like some crazy lessons. Like back then, it's just like you're gonna be up against tragedy and adversity, like from the beginning. Like life is not perfect. Like things will happen. Like it's a really fucked up way of kind of scaring your kids and be like, this could happen. You know, not so. You're obviously you're not a lion, and like, but like things could happen, and like it's almost like preparing you in a fucked up way,
Yeah.
like.
But don't you prefer that to some degree? Like, I think we definitely spoke about this previously, where it's like movies, shows, the things that kids consumed in our era.
Oh,
like they genuinely had a lesson to them.
Yeah, they did. No, we did.
Like it wasn't just brain rot TV or
no,
just colorful for the sake of being colorful.
No, absolutely not. A lot of things back then, like we're genuinely trying to teach you something. And, like you see it in stuff like this, where like it's going to be sad as fuck. You know how it's a good movie too when the adults are sad.
Yeah,
and it's just like the adults are watching this going, "It's just a good idea." Like this is fucked up for my kid, but it's like no, it's showing like kids and people like harsh realities.
Yeah,
you know, and like that's the truth.
There's very few kids movies now.
I haven't watched many.
Like the only thing that comes to mind really is like Inside Out. Where Inside Out is genuinely like a good movie.
Inside Out was very good, you know?
But like there's very few movies that are especially like animated that aren't anime that like are just genuinely good movies nowadays.
I can't think of any like that whole Disney era. Even later on, some later movies were like peak animated movies. Like I think my first thought was like Lilo and Stitch. I loved Lilo and Stitch.
Oh, Lilo and Stitch is one of the greatest movies.
That was incredible. You know, see how they edited? How they edited it?
What do you mean?
They edited one of the scenes. It was when this older sister, I don't remember her name, was I think trying to find Lilo. Lilo was hiding. Lilo was hiding in the dryer or the washing machine, whatever it was. Okay, and I guess it was a thing where kids would go hide in dryers and washing machines to go as like a hide and seek. So if you go watch
I've
now,
done that actually.
I probably have too. But if you go watch it now on Disney Plus, they edited it so it's like a little table and she's like behind a pizza box. Yeah. So even then it's not what you remember because they're editing. Because I get it too. Like, listen, kids are learning, taking the wrong message from it. I guess that's their takeaway from Lilo and Stitch. Yeah. And
do you actually remember that movie like well?
Decently well. Not
you know
too
the end of that movie where they're like it's a scene where they're like flying a spaceship.
Yeah.
At the end.
Yeah, they're like chasing down one another, right?
Do you know that that's edited?
Is it?
So the movie came out around 9/11.
Oh.
Originally, that scene was a plane, like losing control.
That's right.
And they were like, "Fuck!"
I do remember that. Wow. Yes, I remember seeing
and they
the
moved.
clips.
They changed it from being a plane to being a spaceship.
Wow, really? That's right. Wow, I completely forgot about that.
So you could actually find it online.
There's a lot of stuff they kind of had to change during that time.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
I can't think of any examples right now, but like, I'm sure there's a lot of things that are just like,
Yeah.
let's not, like, let's change it. Like, obviously, the autonomy is not great and everything, and it's so sort of tough subject for a long time, and not happening.
Bro, I love so many cartoons from our era. Like we've done lists previously, like
Yeah.
where we talk about like cartoons from like 90s, 2000s, stuff like that. Like I just think about someone like we had like a lot of diversity and inclusion in our era.
Yes.
Mucha Lucha.
Yep.
You had Static Shock. We had the Jackie Chan show, which was amazing.
That was really good. Yeah.
I forget what it's called, the Talisman one.
I don't remember. They were hunting after the talismans, but like I don't remember. It wasn't
Bro,
called
so
like Jackie. Was Jackie
Chan Adventures, maybe?
Yeah, that sounds right. Jackie Chan Adventures.
Bro, we had a lot of good shows.
A lot
like
of
that.
diversity. A lot.
And that was like what, like our Saturday morning cartoon situation.
Which is funny too, because like you see like nowadays, again, not to get too political, but you see a lot of like, how do you say, like kids aren't born racist.
No.
Kids don't fucking see any of that. They don't, and they should. And like a lot of it is imposed by like their parents or like outside influences or whatever. And like, but growing up for us too, like we had all this inclusion, diversity. Like we never batted an eye at any of it. It was just, and then also like this thing, we also had a lot of like female lead characters, like Kim Possible, the Powerpuff Girls. I watched Powerpuff Girls. I didn't give a shit.
Well, we didn't know any better.
But also, we didn't care.
Even though when I watched the Powerpuff Girls, I wanted to be the Rowdy Rough Boys. But
Rowdy Rough Boys were cool though. But like, yeah, back then we didn't give a shit. Like, it wasn't a big deal to us. Like we were just like kids just watching cartoons, and the cartoons were just good. Like we didn't care who the protagonist was. It was not a thing. And like, unfortunately, it's a thing now. It's like, oh, like especially now with games. Like it was like, oh, it's like this. There's a woman in the game, and they're just like, oh, she's ugly. She must be trans or this that. It's just a horrible discourse online about like this just sexism like in like these industries, and it's disgusting. It's gross, and I don't get it because like growing up, watching all these things, playing all these things, I never once got an ounce of any of that. I never thought like, oh, I don't want to play that. That's Laura Croft. That's a girl. Like the fuck are you talking about? Tomb Raider was great. Exactly. Yeah. Like I just don't get any of it. And like, oh, if a character's ugly, it's like, oh, blah blah. They're making her ugly on purpose. Blah blah blah. It's just like. You never, from how these people complaining, I've never touched a woman. Like, so it's just this mind-numbing, absurd like shit online of people just complaining about it. But like kids are not born racist or sexist. Like all these cartoon stuff we had, like they were just good. We didn't give a shit. I don't care now. Like we never gave a shit about who was what color or who was what race or whatever. He never gave a fuck.
No. Think about the shows we had back then. Like I said previously, Mucha Lucha. We had Static Shock. We had Jackie Chan's Adventures. We had Rocket Power. Which those kids were all different colors.
Because we're all different colors.
We had Doug. There was a kid that was green. Doug.
Another kid that was like teal.
Teal.
Steven was like blue.
But like, none of us cared.
No, I didn't give a shit. No.
It didn't register in my brain.
No, not at all.
Like I was just watching what I thought was good TV.
Yeah, I was watching cartoons. I don't give a shit. Never did. Still don't.
No. It's crazy that you mentioned that. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I almost think that like this softer era, it's making it worse. Like, I almost think it's dividing us more.
Oh, it is. Everything is divided. Everything. Like, something will come out and you'll have one side or the other, like, complaining about something.
Yeah.
Like, their games will come out. They're, oh my God. Oh, it drives me fucking crazy. So there's a site online, right, that you could, if you want to go play a game, you can go check if it's woke or not.
No.
Yeah, so this game comes out, and you can go online and see if it's woke. Oh yeah, there's woke. There's LGBT representation.
But the thing is, not everything needs that.
No, it's not. But that's also like enough for people to be like, oh, I'm not touching that. I'm not touching that game. Blah blah blah. I was like, what are you talking about? Everything's being forced upon you. Like gay people exist. Like I hate that. Oh, they're forcing on us. Oh, the fuck, they're not. Like look around. Like it's just.
But my thing is like, I think that it bothers me in media in general where they force that issue.
But is it being forced? Like, you look around, you're walking around the street. There's anybody could be gay. You have no idea. So it's not really being forced.
What I'm saying, like, sometimes it's just like they'll make a character that's been for 6 seasons like a womanizer, just gay, out of nowhere. Like it's only to appease somebody, like some section of the crowd,
like an overcorrection.
Yeah, where it's like, I don't mind you introducing a new character that's like that.
But you don't like when characters changed.
I don't think that. I think sometimes it's a clear, like someone inside the writer's room was like, you guys know, we gotta make this guy or this female, or like, it's just when it's done correctly, it's done correctly. I don't mind. Like, you've never seen Avatar: The Last Airbender or Korra.
I have not, no.
But in Korra, she's clearly a lesbian the whole show. Like, you just kind of know it, and at the end, you kind of it almost confirms it. It was supposed to be more confirmed, but Nickelodeon refused to let them do it. But like, it's well written.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Like, so I watch it and I'm like, okay.
It does not. Yeah, it does not matter.
Like, you know, this makes sense. Like, clearly she was struggling with her identity, and now she's rectified. Good writing. Cool.
Yeah.
Now, when you just shoehorn an idea in there that doesn't make sense for the sake of appeasing, and we keep saying the LGBTQ community, but I mean also with, you know, just different races as well. You know what I mean? Sometimes they just try to shoehorn things in there. Like look at all the memes you see like on Netflix, where it's like, oh, Netflix adaptation, and like the character is clearly just a different race.
Right.
Like, it's not necessary. Some things, to be period accurate, you know what I mean, they just need to be what they are. Like Black Myth Wukong, the video game that just came out. Someone like, I think from either IGN or one of these big publications, they played Black Myth Wukong. They said the game was amazing.
Yeah.
But then they said that basically that the game wasn't woke enough. Like, it didn't have representation of like women, didn't have representation of this, that, and third.
There wasn't enough representation.
But the game's based off of this mythology.
Whole mythology thing.
That has nothing to do with that. Like, it's like, how do you shoehorn that in there?
I guess in that case, it's about inclusion without like, I don't want to say disrespecting the source material. But like something like that, it is tough because it is like, all right, it's based on something historically accurate. Like, if that's the way it was written, that's the way it was written. So like that's like that I can understand. But if it's like something like new, like a new idea, like something fresh, like, go for it. But yeah, I can agree with the whole like historical thing. Like, all right, this is how if it's trying to be super historically accurate, although like they might take some liberties here and there. With like, especially with the game itself, like you want like big monster fights and all this stuff that they might have been like exaggerated for the game. Like, I can also see the other way. Like, why not like also be a little liberal with this or that? Like, if we're going to take some liberties to throw in extravagant monsters that like weren't in the thing, why not also add like a couple like extra characters? You know what I mean? But if it's like an extra character, like, okay, cool, like go fucking crazy, do whatever you want. But if it's like an historically accurate, if we could have like, I don't know, Chinese Guan Yu in there, you know what I mean? You're not gonna make Guan Yu like a different race or anything like that. You're gonna try to be respectful to the original source. So like, yeah, there's levels to it. There's also different ways that you could use it and play around with it. You know, like there's never going to be a clear cut way to have representation for everybody.
No,
it's not. It is.
You're never going to make everyone happy.
No, of course, you can never make.
Period.
No,
like,
no, you can't make anybody happy.
At the end of the day, I mean, this kind of goes back to another thing, and I feel like we keep rehashing certain things, but you know, I have no problem with, you know, I guess, inclusion and diversity. That all for it. Just make new stuff. Like, just make new things, like new IPs in general. Like, we don't have any new IPs.
They do that, no, because like there are new things coming out, but then there's fucking people online who decides to make a list and check if it's woke or not. So people won't play it. So it's like you have like a new game coming out, and then there's like a really in-depth like character customization. and like really in depth, where you can do whatever the hell you want. I think like the big discourse right now is over Dragon Age, Vanquish, whatever it's called. And the character creation is like super in depth. You can do whatever you want. You can keep it genderless. You can keep it genderless. I think like you can do whatever you fuck you want. So people are like, "Oh no, that's woke." How is that woke? They're letting you do whatever the fuck you want. Like, why is that? Why is that an issue?
Because people just want to be mad.
I just like you're just at the point you're grasping at straws. I'm like, here's something you have the option to do whatever the fuck you want. If you want to make your character like a male or female, like clear cut, go right ahead. But for those people who don't want to do that, who don't want it to be clear cut, who don't give a fuck, who want things gender neutral, they also have that option. Like, we're not taking anything away from anybody else. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, inclusion does not take anything away from anybody else. And that's the part I think that blows my fucking mind. They're like, oh, they're taking away our representation, like our this or that. And like, no, the fuck they're not. They're just making it fair across the field.
Yeah, that makes sense to me. Like
that's how it should be.
Yeah.
Like, that's how it should be. Like, let's have like, if people want to play this certain way, or people want the character to look this certain way, give them the option to. Like, it's not taking anything away from anybody else. It's not. Like, that's the part I just don't understand. Like, just because you're including other people doesn't mean it's taking rights away from anybody else.
No.
Like, I just that's the part I just can't wrap my head around. It's like, why is somebody being represented?
Yeah.
That's why I had a brain fart there. Why is somebody being represented so offensive to you? You know what I mean? Because if you were represented, you would also been fucking mad. So I'm like, well, let's just make it fair across the fucking board. Like, it is not that it's not that deep. It's not. It's really not. And the whole this whole toxic online community, like nitpicking every single thing here and there, is just like, it's run its course, and I'm fucking sick of it. I'm sick of
keyboard warriors.
Yes, absolutely, they are. And like, I can't wrap my head around it. I just don't understand why everything had come out, like, they need to find something that they don't agree with and just try to boycott it, or for X, Y, or Z. And like, bro, just fucking let art be art. You know what I mean? Like, it's really toxic in the video game community because of all these things, like all these games coming out, character creation, and all this, and which their characters and whatever. And like, let art be art. Like, it does not need your fucking fingerprints in it. Like, if the artist wants to make wants to use a certain color, if the artist wants to use the color green, and you say, no, my favorite color is purple, fuck green, like, that's not your fucking problem. It's not. Let that artist do what they want. Let the artist use whatever tools and utensils and they want. Like, it doesn't make any sense. Like, and then there's also like a lot of hate mail and a lot of this direct hate, like people being mentioned and messages on Twitter and death threats and all this shit. I'm like, bro, grow the fuck up and walk away. Like, if it bothers you that much, close your eyes. Just close your fucking eyes. Yeah. Exactly. Like, no one's forcing you to play something. No one's forcing you to do this. No one's forcing you to watch that. Like, if it bothers you that much, don't do it.
Yeah.
Like, fucking walk away. Like, I don't get it. Like, there's no reason to be outraged. Like, if you fucking personally don't agree with it, then it's not for you. This is the way it was created. This is the way it was intended. This is the way it was written. Fucking, you leave it the fuck alone. If you don't agree, if you do like it, fucking enjoy it. That's it.
Well, so our last video we talked about like things that we live by, like models we've heard.
Sure.
Something that's very applicable to this that I do live by now. There's the phrase "misery loves company."
Yes.
So my therapist told me, he said, yes, misery loves company, but you got to realize miserable people love miserable company. So they want to in turn make you miserable. Yeah. So you could be miserable with them. They don't care that you're happy. Yeah. So in these situations, it's like they're miserable, so they're hoping that they can make everyone else miserable with them. It's
like herd mentality. Yeah. It's just like, I don't like this. Like, you also don't like this? Oh, let's get more people to not like it. Let's just try to get as many people to not like it as possible.
Well, even then, in terms of that herd mentality, it's like, I don't like this, and someone's like, you don't like this, and then the person that's like, they don't like this, and then eventually now we all don't like this. Yeah. You don't even know why you don't like it.
Exactly. Yeah. And you're just like, oh, why? So you don't know what you're mad about anymore. You're just being mad just to be mad.
Yeah, and it is what it is. At the end of the day, I mean, we're not going to change anyone's opinion on anything.
No, of course not. No,
people are just going to do what they want to do, like keyboard warrior stuff.
People are stubborn.
At the end of the day, I mean, people are going to. You can sit behind your screen and type away. Who cares? Like there's no consequence anymore.
No, unfortunately not. It is, you could say whatever you want, get away with whatever you want, and like
if you think about like our era, or especially the era previous to us and previous to them, you didn't just outwardly just talk shit about anything because you got punched dead in your mouth. You know what I mean? Like there was a recourse to your.
I also feel
situation.
Like back then too, like our parents' generation, there was a certain like decorum to kind of keep your mouth shut.
Yeah, it's a level of respect.
You know what I mean? Like where there's none of that these days.
No.
Like then our parents, like people were not like, they weren't openly talk about things like that are like fucking
offensive.
Yeah, not just offensive, but like they're like you know, like offensive topics, stuff like that, like things like that. Like you know, you might bring up like small groups or whatever, but like there's like certain things like, oh, you don't talk about this at dinner, you know what I mean? Like like certain rules, like, oh, you don't talk about money at dinner, you don't talk politics, you don't talk this, you don't talk that, you know what I mean? So there's a certain respect, like
you don't talk about things that are divisive.
Yeah, exactly. Like
why would I? And I kind of live like that now. Like I don't generally talk about things with people that I know are going to stir the situation.
Yeah,
I'd rather talk to somebody and just have a genuinely like nice conversation. And a lot of times people like they'll bring that stuff to your doorstep where they're like, oh, I heard this and that and third, and you have to kind of like,
that's crazy,
bro. It's funny because at work,
that's crazy. Anyway,
at work, I'm known for always going, that's crazy.
Yeah. It's like,
and a lot of times I'll just walk away.
Yeah, I don't hear it. Like,
I'm good, bro. I'm off that.
Yeah, I mean, people are talking like outly about like one thing or another, and I'm just, if I don't agree, like I just won't say anything. Yeah. And I'm just like, I don't need to start the pod. Like they feel how they feel, I feel how I feel. That's it. You know, like I do have a lot of friends like who thankfully like, agree with like our mindset, the way I think, and our ideas. And like, so like, yeah, we'll talk about it with them or whatever, and like we'll have like open discussions or whatever. But like some people like at work are just like talk. I hear them like the corner of the year talking about this, that. Like I don't agree, but I'm not gonna fucking rise up. Like how fucking dare you? You know what I mean?
There's no sense in it. There's no sense in you rising up to then go at this.
I'm not gonna fucking convince anybody. I'm not gonna change anybody's mind. So I'm not gonna start anything. Like I don't give a shit. Like if that's how you want to think, cool. More power to you. I don't agree, but like agree, disagree.
It doesn't aid me to fix the way you think.
Yeah. It doesn't. There's nothing for me.
No.
If it doesn't benefit me any way, shape, or form how you think. And like, I'm never going to convince you to do otherwise. Don't try to convince me to do otherwise.
Yeah.
Don't give a shit.
Here's what it is.
Yeah, but I feel like our parents' generation and stuff like that, there was a much different level to it. Like it was, like you said, like there was. I mean, they also didn't have the internet like we did. Like for them to. I mean, the internet was a thing. Like, I'm not saying our parents are a fucking agent.
Yeah, but when they were young, it wasn't a thing.
No,
really.
No, it wasn't. And for them too, like there was no place to kind of go online and talk shit about every single thing.
They went to the park. They went to the park and talk shit, and they fought each other and then call it a day. Yeah, or like they would go to like the bar or whatever, like, or they'll wait till like fucking family parties and stuff like that. So it's like you almost like. I also think like back then too, like it's also it's kind of something I want to talk about too. Is like the way, and I was guilty of this too, like. Online, the internet now, kind of versus then, in a social aspect. So, like, I'm definitely one of those people who will rather text somebody than call somebody. I've gotten a little better at that as I've gotten older, but like I used to fucking hate that. Like the whole thing now too, how like people are again also like this, they're like afraid to like make a phone call for like an appointment, or order pizza and all this stuff. I still do that. Like, I still do that all the time. If I think do, I'll just get over with it. But like I used to be a lot worse. But like, and then now too, like I met my wife online, met on Tinder. No hide it, no shame about it. But like, I can't fucking imagine meeting people in public like that anymore. No.
Like so it's so like back then like it's so different because like that's all people did, like that's how you had to do it. You had to meet people online, like you had to talk to people, you had to be face to face or make phone calls or whatever, like whereas now like the internet has definitely had a crazy impact on like our generation. I say the first generation, and then now on where like everything's being faceless behind a screen, as much as possible. And it wasn't just like COVID, because COVID was always a big rise of like video calls and stuff like that. Like
COVID made it worse.
I do therapy like virtually.
Yeah,
that was never a thing. Like that was even like before COVID. Like
I refuse to do it virtually.
I don't mind it. I don't mind it virtually. It is nice because I can just go upstairs and throw my headphones on. I'll talk for an hour. I don't mind it too much. But like back then, like everything in person. everything was in person. Everything was in person. Everything was over the phone. Like, people were able to talk to each other more. You know what I mean? Where I feel like nowadays, like, and I suffer from this, like, I get sick social anxiety where, like, I would rather text somebody. I feel way more comfortable texting somebody or somebody online than face-to-face. I feel like face-to-face, there's so much pressure, and you also have to react, like, and you give like an immediate response. Like, you're texting somebody, you can give like a second or two, like, read it.
You have a thought.
Okay, here you go. Whereas, like, if you imagine asking somebody a question in person, and they're just like, oh, wait a second.
I would be annoyed by that.
Yeah, but
It's acceptable to texting.
Yeah, and like, even like the social anxiety with like fucking calling and ordering food. And ordering pizza, whatever, like that. Like, that's an example I use where I'm like, bro, like, I used to fucking hate it. My parents used to make me do it too. I used to hate it. You get such sick anxiety where I'm just like, can I order online, please? Like, I really don't want to do this. And it just, I don't know what changed. It was just, I guess, the comfort of like not being face to face. I guess of just like you said, like hiding behind a keyboard, but like it does make certain things like a lot more comfortable. Where like I could just like press a couple buttons, order food, and it's at the door. You know what I mean?
That's
like,
true.
There's also a convenience factor too, where like I don't want to call this restaurant, place my order, they're gonna mess it up, and then I have to go there, pick it up, whatever, deliver it, they get it wrong, and then it's just a whole fucking thing. We're online, I'd be like, here's exactly what I want, I'm gonna press the button, some stranger's gonna have it delivered to my door.
Yeah.
But back then, it's like
It's a convenience thing at the end of the day.
Yeah, but it's also a convenience thing, but it's also like a weird disconnect between like being social online versus like in person. Like, it's so different. Like I'd much rather be in a big group chat than be in a big party.
So I'm the opposite in terms of phones, right?
Yeah.
I don't like texting.
Yeah.
Texting gives me anxiety.
I have to say something funny though. You used to, and it also might be a big thing like from like AIM and stuff. I think that's why a lot of sorry for us because we were clip clacking away on keyboards. But you see this thing we used to add in LOLs and LMAOs in the same sentence.
I still do.
And it's hilarious. Like
I would start a sentence with LOL.
Yeah.
I do it LOL. I would bracket.
It'd be like, LOL, that's crazy. LMAO, LOL.
So
That used to make me laugh all the time.
From that AIM era, I felt like if it didn't have an LOL, it was too serious.
Yeah,
it would bother me.
Yes, that's what a big thing is now too. It's like you have to have like an LOL, otherwise like it might come off cold.
Like if someone says something and puts a period, I'm like, oh my god.
Yeah, I thought they're fucking pissed.
That dude's mad.
This happened to my wife, where like she was sending an email and then it was like a period, and they're like, "Oh, you're too passive aggressive." But she puts an exclamation point, and she's like too excited. So it's like, what the fuck is it? Like,
and that's also because people read the text and they can you read it in the voice in your head.
Yeah.
So like, that's also why I like being in person sometimes. And I also like the phone call, because the phone call you could hear my inflection up and down.
It's a huge contact.
It's a big difference.
It makes a huge difference. It does. But the LOLs kind of ease into it a little.
Yeah, the LOL kind of gives it that like levity.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't realize.
It was really.
I actually still do that. Which is
Oh, that's crazy. LMAO, LMAO.
I don't write that many now.
no, not anymore. No, but you
like I'll always make sure to like end it with like LOL.
Yeah, your start and ends or whatever.
Yeah, so I let people know like there's like levity to my conversation.
Yeah, like there's got to be. And that's the best thing too. Is like you have to lighten the mood, otherwise it looks so serious.
Yeah, or you put like an emoji.
Yeah,
or something like.
I hate the laughing emoji.
I love it.
I hate the laughing.
I use it all the time.
It's the crying eyes emoji. Like, oh, what's so fucking funny, man? Like, I can't stand that.
Bro, I drop it in there because I think it's diversity.
Everybody.
LOL or like crying emoji.
Whatever it takes to fucking lighten the mood.
A big emoji I like too is this one.
Yeah.
I don't know why the thinking emoji is like my favorite emoji.
Honestly, you can have full ass conversations with just emojis now, and like,
didn't
have that option before. No. Even like we were texting, like not texting, but like using like AIM and stuff like that. Like, we weren't doing all that. Like it was just like you were writing LOLs because it just kind of lightened the mood a little bit.
Yeah, it made you think. Like, it made you think. Okay, the person's like not mad or upset.
Yeah. So I think now that I think about it, so that's probably why this house all started is because of like AIM and everything. Because it was so easy to talk to somebody. Like, or imagine like being back then in like the early 2000s, like or late 90s. You're sending emails back and forth to somebody.
No.
Having a full ass conversation over email.
Couldn't imagine. But it's funny because now you even go on like TikTok and stuff, and you could see people's like all like at work. Oh, I can't believe this girl wrote like, and you see like they make like almost videos and memes about it, like where it's like, oh, this girl she chose violence today. I'm about to respond, like,
Yeah.
or this person,
Yeah.
like,
Yes.
and they go crazy over email.
Yeah.
I couldn't imagine working.
As per my last email.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So it's like I couldn't imagine like living like that. Like, luckily I'm in a profession now where I don't use email at all.
No,
like it's very, very rare that I get an email that's not based on something I personally like.
No, it's the only emails I get from work are my pay stubs. Like that's it.
So I mean, I couldn't fathom. Like, actually, let me ask you this question, because this is something I kind of wanted to ask earlier. And kind of like trained off, but like, do you think? So I have social anxiety too, but our social anxieties are a little different.
Yeah.
I get social anxiety from two things. One, right before I go out.
Oh yeah.
I hate it.
Oh yeah. I want to cancel.
Every time. Every single time. I get almost like a bad mood.
Yeah.
Where it's like, I just don't want to go out.
Yeah.
I don't want to leave
all the time. I think it really depends what the situation is and like who's there. I think that plays a big factor to me, because if it's a small group setting, like a kickback, all for it. Sure, I like to be there. If it's like a party, we just went to like a Halloween party, and I'm just like, right before I got sick anxiety, I was like, oh, there's gonna be a lot of people there I don't know, blah blah blah, and like I was just like, maybe we don't go. I mean, we did, but like, no, I get that 100%. There's levels to it.
Yeah, so I get social anxiety right before I go out, and then when I get somewhere, I'm good with the interaction. I have no issue with that.
Yeah,
I get social anxiety. Like I say, I met you for the first time at a party a month ago, right?
Oh, I know exactly what you're saying.
And like a month later, we bump into each other again. I'll act like I've never met you, because I genuinely believe that you won't remember me. And I'm like afraid.
Interesting.
I'm afraid. So it's funny. I'll be meeting somebody. I'm like, and I'll know like, okay, his name is Chris or Mark or whatever.
Yeah.
And I'll be like, hey, bro.
Interesting.
And they're like, Joel. I'm like, and now I have to play like, because I'm like, I'm so, for some reason, I think that person's never gonna remember me.
So I get that, but it actually happens, right? I don't think people do remember me. So either it's funny you say this, because either they really don't, or they're doing what you're doing, and they don't remember my name or something, so they act like they're introducing themselves. Yeah. So like I've done that before. Like I feel like fairly recently too, where like I saw somebody at this wedding back in like May. Okay, and I bumped into them beginning of September. And it was like this, it was just at like a little party, little kickback, whatever, and. So he like introduced himself. I'm like, oh yeah, I'm Steven. Like we met at the wedding. He's like, oh yeah. So like, I don't know if we actually didn't know, if he's just doing what you did.
Yeah, bro, it happens all the time.
That's crazy.
Cause I'm like, this person's not gonna remember me. Why would they remember me for? Mind you, I sat like with them for 5 hours somewhere.
You had a full blown conversation. Told
about everything.
Told me my life story.
dreams. But like, I just genuinely, I don't remember me. Whatever. I
do that where like I will again, like I'll admit, like, oh yeah, like no, we've met before, blah blah blah. Yeah. And some people will be like, oh yeah, I remember, blah blah blah. They may not remember my name, but like they'll remember like meeting me. And then same thing. I'll go into it knowing like, oh, this person probably remembers me, blah blah blah. But then it's like, oh no, they're reintroducing themselves. Like this is awkward. Like, no, we met already. They're like, all right, this is my wife, blah blah blah. Like, and they're like, oh yeah. Like, no. Yeah, sure. Yeah, crazy.
That's crazy, bro.
This past weekend too, we went out for a friend's birthday. Well, I went out. I stayed home, and it was whatever. It was like Dave and Buster's, and didn't really know a lot of people there, and so I'm like playing a couple games with them, playing a couple games by myself or whatever. And then like at one point, another one of our friends is like, "You look so lost, like by yourself." And I made a joke. I was like, "Yeah, I need my emotional support wife." But I don't think I really had a moment where I'm just like, fuck, like I would feel more at ease if she was here. Yeah, you know,
your buddy.
Yeah, like exactly. Or it's like if I don't have anybody, I have my wife. Like to always like hang out with. But there's also times where like I'm perfectly fine. You know, like I do like D&D like every other week, and I'll go over there. Like, you know, it's much different because it's also like activity based. I've also known these people for like a while now. So small settings like that where it's like, you know, 5-6 people, like perfectly fine, chilling. It doesn't bother me. Like I used to like go like to play D&D because it was like obviously a scheduled thing, and it also helps too. Is like it's always like the same group of people like every time. But I used to fucking bump music in my car like loud as fuck, hype myself up like to go meet. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and then a couple times where I show up like an hour early, and I'm just like, hey guys, like just me like the host. I'm just like, so you like stuff like.
Bro.
So, that's also just my anxiety at play where I'm just like I get awkward. I do get awkward where I'm like I don't know what to say. I feel like I don't want to fucking talk too much. I feel like I'm not talking enough. Like I'm like in my head about it way too much, especially if it's like somebody like I'm not too close with, so it's just awkward.
Yeah.
You know, instead of friends who are like hanging out with for days on end, I don't give a shit. Like I'm comfortable as hell. But it also helps when there is like a couple more people. You know, I think kind of takes the attention off of you and whatever. You know. So yeah, I absolutely get like social anxiety, and I wasn't always like that, but there's also times too where we would go out. You take me to all these fucking Spanish clubs. Took me to all these Spanish clubs all over the place, all over New York, and I'm like for this. At the time, I'm just like, you know what, like yeah, I'm up for that tonight. Like I'm not doing anything, blah blah blah, and then an hour later, I call a cab home.
Yeah.
I noticed it was too like the social battery would run out so fast. Where like I had my fucking fill. We've already been here for like an hour. I'm ready to call it a day. And like that's gotten a little better with like calling it an early night. But back then, like I was just. I think I like the idea of it more than the actual activity. So
like I get like that. So my social batteries, it's gotten worse and worse.
Sure.
Especially since COVID.
Sure.
I feel like right before COVID, it was like a really big party.
COVID fucked up everything.
So it was big party energy. I was like, I'm going out. After COVID, I was like, dinner.
Well, we were
5 years ago.
28?
We're 32 now.
28. We were 28 when COVID happened. So yeah, at that time, in our 20s, yeah, absolutely.
I was still going hard.
No,
the pain.
I was going that hard. I was
like
very happy about my wife when I did. Because I settled down quick. I was just like, thank God. I gotta do this shit no more.
But you know what I mean? Like I just.
Yeah.
At that point, I think my social battery just is diminished since COVID.
Yeah, I think it affected a lot of people though. It's a wide known thing where people just much more comfortable like being home and whatever. Yeah. And I'm also like in that realm too where I see a lot of memes about it where it's like, oh, what are you doing this weekend? I just paid my rent. I want to get my money's worth. Yeah. And I'm staying the fuck home.
That's good.
Yeah, it's like I invested in this moment. I'm going to enjoy being home. Like that's what it is. And there's levels too. There's times where like I need to get the fuck out of the house. I like having some kind of schedule. Like I like having like doing this. Like I like going D&D. Like I like having a couple days a week where I'm just like I'm not going to be home for the night. At least till late. And like that's enough for me. Where like I can do this and I still feel like I'm not stuck in the house. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So I'm that way with like certain things. Like I have jujitsu.
Yes.
I'm always training for this event, the High Rocks event I'm doing in February. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, and then usually, like, me and my wife, we do something random, like, we'll hang out with friends, hang out with family, something on the weekends, you know, here and there. But my wife knows it, and a lot of people in my family know at this point. I do what's called Adderall Sunday, where
Sunday reset.
Bro, Sunday I will take the full dose of my Adderall, and I will become a superhero. Like laundry done, folded, and like clean the house.
Yeah,
we reset everything.
Yeah, we call it like a Sunday reset, where like I'll do all the laundry. Well, I'll clean up the kitchen, we'll put all the clothes away, like we'll tidy up the living room. Again, same thing, just kind of resetting for the week. Yeah. But I like that because it's just like, all right, I can, like, for example, like while I'm doing laundry, I'm like, I can also like watch something, play something in between while like stuff is in the washer or dryer. Like, it's like doing like shit you have to do around, shit that has to get done around the house, but also like enjoying your time while you're doing it. You know what I mean? Like I won't do that. Like I won't take anything and like go fucking hard, or like I will take my sweet time, but things are getting done. So it's like a nice balance of like relax. No. I'm gone.
Bro, I'm a whole different human being.
Yeah.
I take that Adderall. and then I start feeling it to wane, get some caffeine in me, I'm going.
Nah, I can't do that.
I'll go to sleep like I'm gonna sleep so hard. Sleep. Yeah, sleep.
Nah, I like having that balance. A nice chill Sunday, but still getting stuff done. Where like at the end of the day, I can like still feel like I had a productive day without like overdoing it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I get that.
Yeah.
But I mean, hey, man.
No. Listen, if you gotta, you gotta do what you gotta do sometimes. Fucking power through
course,
a little
man.
bit. You know what I mean? Like you gotta. If that's what it takes. Like I gotta get stuff done. Like let me lock in. Let me lock
what it
in
is.
and get it done. And like that's what it is. That's what it is. I mean, it's,
Yeah, well, the thing is, I also realized like I had like attention problems later in life.
oh yeah. Oh,
I really didn't have it as a. Well, I knew I had something as a kid. I just didn't know what it was.
same thing.
Like in my 30s, someone was like, "Yeah, you probably got ADD, dog." And I was like, "What?"
No, I got diagnosed with ADHD like a few years ago. And then afterwards, I'm like, like a lot of things like growing up made a lot of sense. Like
Yeah, that's why I couldn't sit still in class.
I used to get like state where like I got like hyper fixated on like certain things. Like some things will just kind of take over, and that's all I think about. It used to be like really bad. It's like spending money and buying shit. Where I used to be hyper fixated on this one thing, and I want to get every single one of them. So I used to buy a bunch of like the same things. I remember like my COVID hobby was Pokemon cards, and I got crazy obsessive. Tried to start a YouTube channel, that fucking failed. And then like at one point I got really obsessed with like the fucking Dragon Ball figures. So I was like fucking going everywhere looking for them, buying them, and like and then at some point it's comic books. It's like the big omnibus books, like going fucking hard, spending like a lot of money on shit because it was like a new hyper fixation. And like a lot of my therapist and my psych was just like, that's ADHD coming out full swing. And like that's your ADHD like fixing on one thing that bring you joy. So you're obsessed with getting those little drops of serotonin, and that's just bring any drop I can out of it. I'm just like it's all retail therapy. It's all it is. And so like I use big I don't want to say a sufferer of retail therapy, but like yeah, dude, it was like a big thing, and like that's all ADHD. It's all just your brain trying to fucking cope and look for any bit of happiness you can.
Yeah, I feel that. I mean, at the end of the day, like I kind of get the same way. Like I think that we fall into those little ruts. Yeah. Like I have over like 30 Yankee fitteds because I was obsessed with Yankee fitteds at one point. Yeah, no. Whether it's sneakers, Yankee fitteds, Dickies pants at one point. I have a bunch of those. Dickies pants? Bro, I had the randomest stuff. Like just because I would just get a bunch of one thing because I liked it. You know what I mean? Even now, like my one obsession lately has been TikTok in general. Like creating TikToks constantly.
I feel like that's pretty good though because you're not really spending money on it. You're just like being like creative. So that's a good fixation. That's
now it's been a good fixation. But like every now and then I'll buy certain things like like I'll buy like lighting equipment. I'll buy something else. You know what I mean? It's just But at the end of the day, it's not the end of the world. Now I've kind of channeled my fixations. Where before it was like, I want
it's like a little bit of this, a little bit of that, and then you're just constantly bouncing from one fixation to another. So there's never like a dull period where you're like, I don't need anything right now. Like I was like that where I'm really like I got too much of this, I gotta stop. Let me try this. That's what it was. That's how it was. But right now our fixation has been this channel. And going hard in the paint, as you said. Yeah. So that is where we will end episode 7 of the Better Than Ever podcast. Sir. I'm not doing it. I'll catch you next time. Sir.